If you ever wonder what's the best as a material to listen to or to read to, well, the answer is there's no best material. You need to work on all of them. So basically, when we talk about materials, we talk about the documents that we use mostly for reading and listening. Because whenever you're speaking or writing, you don't need any material. You can talk without any document, or you can write just with a pen and a paper. You don't need a topic. You can just imagine your own topic. But if you're reading or if you're listening to something, you need a document to do that. The reason why you need to work on many different documents is that they will bring you different vocab, different structure, and that the more you see, the more different ones you can use, the better it will be for you and the more you'll be able to increase your overall level. What I mean by that is that for reading, you can read articles, you can read a book, you can read a children's book, and depending on the books, of course, there's a lot of different books, there's a lot of different articles. But once again, you can also just read a menu, you can read lyrics of a song. All of these have their pros and cons, and they are all useful, but if you only work on one of them extensively, then you'll be really good at this one, with the pros and cons with it. But then if you don't switch to another one, then you will never have the pros of the others. One basic example is that if you read articles, they always use some kind of fancy words because it's articles, because they're made by journalists, and they're usually more difficult. So if you're a beginner, it will be really difficult for you to read them. And also because you usually don't want to read two articles about the same topic, it will be really difficult for you to remember the vocabulary because it changes every time, because it changes topic every time. Whereas reading a book, there are a lot of repetitions because they always talk about the same character, the same places, the same actions, and so it's much easier for you to read that and just remember it by reading it again and again without feeling like you're just studying it. The same for listening. If you're listening to a song, then you're listening to a pattern that is really specific. You can learn a lot of vocab and a lot of slang because they want things to rhyme or they want things to really match the rhythm. But the way they speak is not always the way people speak in real life. And the vocab is really specified, so it may be difficult. Whereas if you watch movies, then you have more repetition because just like books, there are more repetitions about the same characters, same places, or the same sentences that the characters use. However, if you watch the same TV show with the same actors and actresses, then you will always hear the same accents. Whereas if you watch different types of videos and listen to songs, etc., you can get used to different accents, to different ways of pronunciation, different rhythm as well, and different vocab that is used. Where sometimes it will be something really official, where sometimes it will be more slang, more of everyday life. So what is the best? I don't really know. I don't think there is. But watching TV shows, listening to songs, watching movies, watching YouTube videos, listening to the radio, reading the news, reading a book, reading a menu, all of that, if you combine them, depending also on your level, maybe watching some stuff for kids at the beginning to make it easier, but then switching to something harder so that you get used to the real stuff. And by real stuff I mean articles written by adults for adults, movies made for adults by adults where they speak quickly and they use more vocab than in cartoons where the vocabulary is really limited. Then you put all the chances on your side so that you can improve faster and improve overall and not just in one specific category. Of course, if you want to improve, let's say, your financial vocab or your medical vocab, then yes, watching a movie or a TV show that is about living in a hospital or working in a financial company will help you better in that case, if your goal is really specific. But if you just want to learn language in general, the more diversity you use, the more diverse documents you use, the better you'll be at handling any situation, because you'll have heard a lot of vocab, a lot of different ways of speaking, a lot of different accents, and you'll be used to all of that, and you'll be able to understand all of that. So that's why use as many different documents as you can throughout your learning journey. And never forget that there's not one way of doing things, there are many ways, but the core idea is always the same. So just use these principles and apply them to whatever method works for you.